The lion is the real king of sushi, but hyenas can also kill him. The eagle may be considered the king of the air, but at night he is absolutely defenseless before owls. And if we talk about the underwater world, it seems that killer whales simply have no equal here. But this is not quite true. Today you will learn why killer whales need a whale's tongue, why they play with other animals, how they storm the shores, and who still has a chance to kill the king of the oceans. Let's go. I think killer whales don't need a separate representation. They are huge, black and white, predatory and just devilishly smart. No kidding. To understand how powerful killer whales are hunters, it is enough to say that they have a well-thought-out plan for each hunt. Depending on who exactly is the future dinner, killer whales, and they almost always hunt in groups, choose a certain strategy. For example, to eat a shark, it needs to be disoriented. For a shoal of small fish, something like a carousel of air bubbles is suitable, and if it comes to whales, it's better to see it with your own eyes. The attack follows a brutal but working pattern. Killer whales take turns ramming, biting and pulling the whale by the pectoral fins and usually exhaust the prey. Even despite the difference in size, you get tired of this. Imagine that several medium-sized dogs will bite you at the same time, and then also try to drown you. Yes, killer whales block the whale's breathing hole, and after a chase that can last for hours, the exhausted giant drowns. Whales, of course, are also different. Some of them, especially the young ones, are not much bigger than the killer whales themselves. What about the blue whale? It is believed that this is the largest creature that has ever existed on our planet. The weight is more than 170 tons. That's what we'll eat, apparently the killer whales thought and went to ram. And now realize that several killer whales, which are actually just toothy dolphins, have put a blue whale to flight. Even such a giant prefers not to mess with them. But most often the prey of killer whales are baby whales. It's so common that whales even protect the offspring of other species if they can. For example, humpbacks were once seen guarding a small gray whale, and already dead. They just didn't let the killer whales finish what they started. Perhaps because they know what happens to the prey. After all, killer whales are still gourmets. Baby humpback whales are one of their favorite dishes. Moreover, killer whales often eat only the tongue, and leave the rest of the carcass to scavengers. Why? Well, apparently, it's especially delicious. By the way, the same thing happens with sharks. Their killer whales eat only the liver, because it contains useful substances. In short, sharks are something like vitamins. And you know, here I am talking about how killer whales hunt some marine animals, others, and others. Can no one resist them? Only until it comes to the sperm whale. Killer whales hunt females and cubs of this species, but try to stay away from males. The whale's heavy and powerful tail is potentially capable of delivering deadly blows. The exact force of such blows is unknown, but an adult sperm whale weighs about 80 tons. This is about 10 times more than the classic double-decker Rottmaster bus. Killer whales would have no chance if the sperm whale was a little more aggressive and smarter. Most whales are just huge, but when intelligence was distributed, they were clearly standing in line for tails. What if the same sperm whale was smart as a human? Here you are, on the other side of the screen. What would you do if you were a sperm whale that was suddenly attacked by a killer whale? Surely you will turn around faster and how? Tail. And maybe connect the teeth. Each of them weighs a kilogram. It would be nice to start using them. Another predator capable of repelling the killer whale is the great white shark. You know, it's a creepy hulk with a killer look. Killer whales are considered the only natural enemies of white sharks, and if the shark manages to bite first, then rows of razor-sharp teeth can pierce even the thickest skin. I think this particular species is able to win in a fight if it attacks first. If not, a special hunting strategy will come into play. I've already talked about her. With its wide tail, the killer whale pushes the shark to the surface, then stuns, and then the killer whale, as if having some knowledge of shark biology, turns the victim over, putting him into a stupor and paralyzing him with this. Bon appetit. So who can beat a killer whale at all? I was thinking about stingrays, but they're just part of the menu. Saltwater crocodiles have an incredible bite force and a thick skin that no killer whale will bite through. But the mouth simply does not open to such a width that you can bite off something important. Do you have any ideas? Write them in the comments and we will definitely read them. As I have already said, killer whales have a lot of proven hunting techniques that they use depending on the victim, the landscape, I don't know, maybe depending on the mood, too, or they check their horoscope. But one of them especially struck me. Watch your hands, or behind the fins. Seals often get out of the water on ice floes to rest. Here they are not in danger, so you can safely chill, rocking on the waves. The killer whale is too heavy to climb on an ice floe and eat a seal, but it can always call for help from its bro. Several predators line up, accelerate, and then break right in front of the ice floe, creating a wave that simply washes away the victim. Killer whales can only catch her in the water. There's nothing complicated here, they do it all the time. Sometimes, however, the prey manages to climb back onto the ice, and then the attack is repeated in a huge wave. Again, and again, and again. Nobody's in a hurry here, you know. As you probably already realized, killer whales are smart, ruthless predators that. What's this? Oh, another one flew. It's kind of low, probably by the rain. Yes, in addition to their other qualities, killer whales are known for their rather strange playfulness and they play like real psychopaths, in the truest sense of the word. No, seriously, look at that. Instead of just eating the unfortunate seal, killer whales use it instead of a sword. And again and again. Sometimes it's a bit of a workout, just so you don't lose your killer skills. Sometimes it's a demonstration for the younger generation, and sometimes the game remains just a game. Killer whales kill because they are bored. Hey, Steve, what are we doing tonight? Let's throw other animals until they die. By the way, not only seals suffer. Sometimes it can be a stingray, a turtle or even a penguin. My god, Don is a bird at all. In fact, killer whales are happy to eat penguins. Unlike other feathered poor devils on the menu, these can't just take off and fly away. We have to look for salvation in other places. It's good when there is a person nearby. Penguin, are you okay? Kowalski. Has anyone seen Kowalski? But the boat does not give 100% protection. Moreover, even the land will not save. Because if a killer whale decides to eat someone, it will achieve its goal. Sea lions that have almost made it to shore look like a challenge or an ideal victim to play with. And how else to call such a way of hunting, when the killer whale almost jumps ashore to grab his lunch, running away with the last of his strength. As if there is not enough other prey in the sea, for which you do not need to break the laws of nature and climb on land. However, look at her. What laws? And she wants a sea lion. Sometimes such a desire can turn into serious problems for a killer whale. On the web, you can find a bunch of videos in which these predators, who were too keen on hunting, missed the ebb and, yeah, that's right, were trapped. I can hear the sea lions laughing somewhere in the distance. In such a situation, the killer whale has only one rescue option, to get help from people and wait for the tide to return to the sea. Of course, no one will drag a huge beast weighing 3 to 5 tons into the water on their own. Well, if there are no people around, well, natural selection is in action. I can't say that without human help, the population of killer whales would have greatly decreased, but several dozen of these marine predators definitely owe their lives to people. Maybe that's why they sometimes play with us with such joy. Fortunately, not like with seals, at least usually. Everything looks pretty innocent, even funny, even cute. For example, this killer whale named Luna has lagged behind her family and is so used to people that she behaves like a playful puppy, a multi-ton sea puppy. Looking at how killer whales play with people, in fact, somehow you forget that they are cruel predators who simply have no equal in the sea. And if you've watched Free Willy, you probably can't shake the feeling that you are being shamelessly deceived. And it's true. The main deceiver here is Hollywood. Even those killer whales that perform in oceanariums do not pull on cute good-natured creatures in any way. The most striking and most terrifying example is the telecom, a trained male involved in at least 3 murders of people. The first was Kelty Byrne, who slipped and fell into the pool, where there was a telecom and 2 more killer whales. They tossed the girl between their mouths, immersed her in water and did not let her float up. Kelty drowned. The second victim was a man who made his way into the pool to the aquarium after the closure of the aquarium. But the third attack on a person was the most terrible. Experienced trainer Don Brancho killer whale dragged into the water by the hair right at the beginning of the show. In front of the amazed audience, the telecom ruffled the victim as if he were a toy. When Don managed to recapture, she was already dead. What about the killer? Well, he soon returned to performing. Don't waste the money. The latest tragedy occurred at the SeaWorld Orlando amusement park. But killer whales are not only kept there. I think they are in every SeaWorld aquarium and, it seems, they do not forget their wild habits anywhere. And not predators, which have no equal in the ocean in strength and intelligence. Why not hunt in the middle of the pool? So just rolled San Diego. Killer whales don't just attack when they see something edible in front of them. They use bait to get the birds to come closer. And they do so quite consciously, throwing up pieces. What is it? Fish? So, the pieces of fish are closer, and then they wait. And after all, they succeed. Most likely, killer whales hunt birds just for the sake of hunting, playing. But you know, maybe from the point of view of the telecom, all the victims were also part of the game. I would prefer to stay as far away from the killer whales as possible. Especially if they are kept in captivity and are already too used to people. What if we're just skinny, hairy seals to them? See you soon.